Hello everybody, my name is David Fellah. I'm here to share some thoughts on how technology will impact the future of communications design. So I'm not here to talk about colors or typographies or messages or anything like that, but a little about what is happening with technology and what that means for the way that we should think communication in the future. I've titled this lesson, so to speak, that if communication was a gunfight, communications of the future is or will be a gunfight, chances are that you or most businesses will be bringing a knife. And trust me, you don't want to bring a knife to a gunfight because you're going to lose then. Just shortly about me, my name is David Fellah. I live in Copenhagen. I'm the CEO and one of the 3 co-founders of Designit. We are, like we just heard, Europe's largest strategic design firm. And we do both strategy and design. The combination of these 2 things is a very important thing if you want to reach the goals for the businesses that you're working with. Our DNA, and that's really important, is multidisciplinary and it's international. We are 300 people all over the world, 13 offices in 11 countries, and more than 30 nationalities, more than 30 different educational backgrounds as well. These are some of our offices around the world. We're opening in San Francisco in a few months from now. We're multidisciplinary, which means we don't just work with one discipline in design. We work with just about all the disciplines that we find to be important, not only on the surface, but very, very deep. I won't line them up to you, but we do everything from brand communication, industrial design, instructional training, anthropology, mobile experiences, digital services, and so forth. And we do all we can to combine them, because the future don't want separate disciplines, they want combined design disciplines, and we try to provide that to our customers. But in short, what we do is help companies. If a company is a car, a lot of companies actually drive like this. They have a foggy windscreen. Or if they don't have a foggy windscreen, they have like tons of these like navigational helps to make sure that they do the right things, and still many of them do the wrong things. What we try to do is to clear the windscreen and establish some new orientation marks that helps the companies do the right thing at the right time. But what's different from us is that we also see this strategy that we develop with the company through to final implementation, final design of anything, digital, product, or whatever, to final implementation. So from A to C is what we try to do in Designit. We're fortunate enough to work for clients all over the world, and have, because we're 22 years old, I'm an old man. 22 years we've been around in this game, and we have developed thousands and thousands of projects and services and products for some of these fantastic companies. We are 2 things. We're driven by method, driven by process, and we're driven by co-creation. I won't dive into our method right now, because I'm actually not here to talk about Designit. I'm here to talk about the future of technology. I think that was my computer, actually. There's a message for me. We are driven very much. This is how we work in design. We work together. We work in co-creation. We work lots of people working together in order to make sure that we get through a process in the right way, from the insight phase to the ideation phase and to final implementation. And this is actually very much how it looks in Designit. Tons of people working together, sharing ideas, going across from one end of the process to another end of the process. Our belief, we have many beliefs in Designit, but one of the most important beliefs is this one, that design, a general design thing, most important capability is the ability to answer what we should design and then how we should design, never the other way around. What can we do? Designit is driven by creating real value for not only the users and the clients, or actually not only for the clients, but very much also for the users, and that goes back to the clients then. We're obsessed with technology, and especially the technology of the future, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Everything we do in Designit is based on understanding the real world, the users, the production, and the future. I'm just going to run you quickly through some of the things that we're working with in Designit, so you can see like the tangible outcome of the process that we are doing. Everything from all sorts of different consumer electronics to medical and pharma. We're doing complete branding packages and branding platforms for different companies. We're working with, this is a whole corporate communication platform for the world's largest company of their kind, doesn't matter. And then we're doing a wide variety of digital services for, right now, very much for the mobile platform. For anything within energy, this is Schneider Electric. Within banking and financial service, these are 3 of Denmark's largest banks that we've done digital mobile services for. And within the pharma industry as well. I should probably stop looking at that one and look at this one instead. And this is just one last example of how we're working with large-scale digital interaction and digital services. This is the Danish pavilion at the World Expo in Seoul in 2012, this year actually. So we're working with technology. We're working with communication, and we are doing everything we can to combine these things and get an idea of how communication technology and communication concepts of the future are emerging. Before I start on that, I would like to discuss what communication is. We've seen some really fine examples this morning on what communication is and what communication always has been. It has to do with colors, it has to do with content and tone of voice and messages and messages and messages and all these like classical approaches to what communication is. To us in Designit, we try to approach it in a different way. Because who cares what a brand wants to say when they have the opportunity, and they do, to do something for you as a consumer instead? And most brands, they have the opportunity today, very much driven by the new mobile platforms and the new technologies that we all have and all use. They have a chance to serve us, these brands. And serving us is actually, we believe, the new platform for communication. My point here is that nobody cares what a brand wants to say if they can interact with the brand, and the brand provides a relevant service that provides the user, the consumer, with some real value. Banking services, insurance services. A bank has all the things in the world to say, but nobody cares. But as soon as they provide, how much have you been listening to your bank's marketing campaigns within the last 2 years? Nothing really, right? You don't listen to them. You see the fine pictures, you see the fine colors and movies and all these things that they're making and trying to impress you with, but you get really impressed when they provide you with a mobile banking service that actually makes your life easier. That's when you start liking your bank. You don't like them because of a nice poster they do. And the businesses are starting to understand that, and we are starting to work with that big time in Designit also. We believe that communication of the future is a service, and that old school communication will lose in the future to services. And these services are rising because we can now. We couldn't do that 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. But now we can because of the mobile explosion, and we can certainly in the future, because things are going to explode much more than you would ever believe. The scenario as we see it right now is that in the past, there were like 2 or 3 channels, you know, print and maybe some website or whatever, tied together with visuals and with messages. Right now, as we all know, we have several aligned channels and platforms. That could be a mobile service, that could be a website, that could be what you experience when you see the branch of, let's say, a bank again, like physical, real-world experience of the brand. These are getting aligned, so we expect that we can get the same kind of service or experience on our mobile platform as we can on our website and, so to speak, in the bank also. But the future is going to be different, guys. The future is going to be what we call a fluid multi-platform experience. It all ties together. It has to do with big screen displays. It has to do with these big screen displays, understanding who you are as you approach them, and so forth. It's going to be completely connected through, this is difficult, situation, relative features, and opportunities. I'll say bank again, I want my bank to understand who I am, and where I am, and when I am in a certain situation, how they are supposed to approach me to provide a real value for me. When they do that, I will listen to what they have to say. So we believe that the most important thing brands can do, and these new technologies can do for brands, is to create dialogue between the brand and the consumer, and then create real value. I'll give an example of it. We have the fortune of working with Audi on a fantastic project that has just been launched in London in, I think in July or June during the Olympics. It's called Audi City. The brief from Audi was very simple. Listen guys, we want to sell cars in the middle of a city, but we can't because we need, say, 25, 30, 40 cars to be present, and we can't do that in the middle of the city, but we can't get people outside of the city anymore. So how do we sell cars in the middle of the city? You got 200 square meters, but you guys know all about the communication technologies of the present and of the future. Show us how, using communication technologies and using standard communication, that we can actually sell cars in the middle of the city. I'll show you a movie that'll give you, it takes 2 minutes, that'll give you an idea of what the experience, that new selling cars retail experience that we try to establish in London, what it actually feels like. See if I can this is my point. This is communication of the future. Exploiting the technology of the future to create some kind of real value service that the consumer will be convinced of. And if that is communication of the future, you will understand that this is a gunfight and that you would not want to come around with a knife. Communication of the future is going to be much more complicated, much more big scale than it is today. I'll tell you why. This is probably going to be the most important slide today, even though it's probably also the most boring slide today. On your y-axis, you have the technical development. On your x-axis here, you have time. This is how we perceive the speed of technological development. We think it's quite linear, that 2 years from now, we'll probably have something, a progress from now to 2 years from now, we'll probably have a technological progress that resembles the progress of the previous 2 years. And then the previous 2 years and 2 years and 2 years. That's not how it is. Things are developing in a different way. Things are developing exponentially right now when it comes to technology, and that is going to transform the way that we discuss communications technology. I'll show you why. This is actually, and this is not something I invented, this is the truth. This is being seriously researched right now. This is how the technology development when it comes to communication technologies is happening right now. It's exploding. As you can see, the difference between what we will have of technological equipment, processing speed, and all these things, and screens, and wireless speeds, and all these things, from now to, say, 3, 4 years from now, is going to be something that resembles the development of the last 20 or 30 years. It's going to accelerate, and things are going to be so fast. I think none of us actually really understand what this means. It's not only within communications technology, it's within all kind of technologies. That from now on, there's no saying what the future looks like in 2 years from now. We think we can. We expect that there's going to be an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 7, and it's probably going to be a little faster than the one we have now. No, 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 that's not what it's going to be like. I don't know what it's going to be like, but I know that the difference between my iPhone 5 in my pocket right now and the iPhone 3 I had 2 years ago is dramatic. And it changes all the opportunities we have when we work with communication technology. Let me show you this example. Do you know this example? Tesco Home Plus in Seoul. They made this amazing campaign where they took a whole metro station, a subway station, and clad the walls with images of shelves from their grocery store in order to sort of move the buying experience or simulate the buying experience from the shop somewhere in these stations. And what you did was you took your mobile phone, then you took a few pictures of these things, and you started shopping just like bleep, 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 bleep. Very, very smart. When this came out, it was groundbreaking. It's a year and a half ago. It was groundbreaking. We were all like, whoa, we want to do that. That's what we should have done instead. Thing is, that today, this is not groundbreaking. This is from an iPhone 3 era, where you didn't have the right resolution, you didn't have the right speed. You were only probably on 3G network. Things were too slow. You couldn't have a convincing grocery shopping experience on your phone. Now, the iPhone 5 and other phones of that kind, the Galaxy, whatever, is providing us the opportunity to make, with my hands tied on the back, today I could make a grocery shopping experience that would outperform this 100 times. Much easier, much smarter, much more intelligent, much faster. We wouldn't need something like that. This is a year and a half ago. This is not the future. This is the past, and it's a year and a half. This is a slide I made for today. There's no truth in this at all. This is not like a real slide. It's just like to indicate some of the things that I think is very important that we should understand, is that while the purple is a while ago and the blue is like in the near future, as you can see, the channels that we communicate with have risen a lot. The devices, like a year ago we would have a website and then we would have an old mobile phone basically. Now we have, I don't know how many devices that we're all juggling around with, and they're changing rapidly. The complexity of the devices is changing rapidly. The user scenarios, we don't just relate to users who are sitting in front of the computer. We're relating to users in their bed, on the toilet, in the bathroom, while they're working, in the bus. It's getting a lot more complicated where we meet the users, where we meet those that we communicate with. Platforms, complexity, and most importantly, the expectations. You see, users, they don't forgive anything. The people we communicate with, if they have had the Audi experience just once that we just showed, then they expect all the other car companies to have the same experience. So the expectations are exploding also from the users. The reality of communications right now, I'm going to get to another example soon. These are some of the words that we are working with in Designit that has to do with the communication technology and what that provides of service opportunities. We talk about service snacking. Before in time, we expected that the user would sit down in front of a computer and then we would have their undivided attention for, say, 5 minutes. We don't anymore. We know from the banking mobile experiences that we are working with that we will get 10 seconds of attention from the user in the bus on their banking app, 10 seconds, and then they do something else. So there's users are in the future snacking services and communications rather than experiencing and diving in deep and so on. The same goes with information. We only get our information in flashes nowadays, like ting, 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 beep, beep. On my phone I have information, but it's only 140 characters. We expect the products to be everywhere. I have a BMW at home. I also have it in my pocket. It's 10,000 kilometers away. I have all the information about my BMW in my pocket right now on my phone. I can actually remote control my BMW. I want my product everywhere. I don't just want it to be where the physical product is. I want also that the brands, they understand where I am. I want them to follow me around. And then most importantly, nobody can demand anything of me as a user in the future. What I won't get into that right now. To be very short and sweet about it, communications of the future combine services, products, and experiences and real value on a variety of platforms, utilizing, and this is the important thing, this is also has to do with the This also has to do with the next example I'm going to show you. Utilizing the direct and real value moment, the value moment of interaction with the consumer. It sounds like gibberish, but let me just show you what I mean. You all are familiar with Lego, like the bricks, the toys, yeah? It's a Danish company. We are working with Lego right now on something called Jam Session. It's a product service, and it's the perfect platform for communication. I'll show you what I mean with this concept. This is, however, there's a disclaimer, this is work in progress, and it's very much a prototype, so bear with us that it sounds really awful and all these things when you get there. But what you should imagine, this is the package for Lego Jam Sessions. What it actually is this. It's an app and a few bricks. You buy like a blue plate and different colors of bricks, and what you do then is you put them on the board, and depending on how you put the bricks on the board, it creates different sounds. How? I'll show you on this small movie also. I hope you can hear the sound here. Again, this is a prototype. Put the bricks on the board, take the app, a prototype app, and it realizes. Can you hear that? Okay. Now imagine these sounds, not these like prototype sounds, but like heavy rock drum sets and guitars. It could be a fantastic experience for the kids to work with this in the way that they're doing it here. Now, as a prototype, this is just very, very, very simple. A very simple product, a very simple service. It's a simple app. It's a simple product. But what it does is it allows for these kids to have an experience that they can communicate with. So you sequence the music, and you share it with your friends. You put more of these blue plates together, and then you can share them online. You can make other people continue developing on these things. It's a very, very, very simple product that provides a very simple pleasure. We believe, though, as we have done all the testing with the kids, that the complexity of the experience can rise, and then we're going to have not only young kids, but also older kids working with this, and who knows what is going to happen. And you know what? That doesn't really matter, because the product here is not the important thing. The whole service that we provide around it is the important thing. This simple Lego Jam Session provides direct communication channel to the users. Through this app, Lego can communicate directly with the users. It wasn't possible before. They can create a Lego, a club Lego Jam, where we can create dialogue and provide real value with the users. Again, we can have dialogue. We can simply talk to the users while they are actually working with this service in a sense unheard of communication opportunities. We can provide interaction between the kids through this Lego platform. Different kids can talk to each other through this platform and can work together through this platform. This is also a very neat value to provide for these people. Of course, the social media integration of this is amazing. The way that you can share songs, and you can build on other people's songs, and you can rate songs, and you can all these things is again going to do something for Lego that actually has an issue with social media integration, because the kids, they are not on social media. It's a platform for new services and new products. And very much important, the last part, it gives us insights on users' behavior and patterns, because we can measure it directly. To us, this is the future of communication. It's not Lego they could spend millions on making the world's nicest website, but they wouldn't get the same engagement as they're getting from the kids with this product service. It beats websites any day to provide a service. But the thing is, this wasn't possible 1 year ago. Before the tablets had a camera on the backside, this wasn't possible. It's possible now. Who knows what's going to be possible in the future when it goes as fast as we just saw on the graph. Okay, finally, I have no idea how much time I've used, but finally I have like 3 guiding principles I would like to provide you with that could help you when you're working with this in the future. And trust me on one thing here. A year and a half ago, we would have no idea that this was possible, and no idea that the Audi case would be the success it was. By the way, do you think that it's actually possible to sell cars in the middle of London in Piccadilly Street with a shop like the one you just saw? Do you think people are buying cars there? There's no car? There's no car? You only see it virtually. That store, I don't know the numbers from the recent months, but after 3 months, that one store in London was the 5th best-selling Audi dealer in the world. There's not a car there. So that says something about the force, the brutal force and the brutal power of communication technology when it's used in the right way. And it also says something about we couldn't have foreseen this 5 years ago. And as you know, the exponential development of technology prompts me to say that we don't know what is possible in 2 years from now. But as a human being, all of us, we have this idea of looking back and saying, yeah, that's a pretty natural development. No, it's not a natural development. It's a dramatic development that we are seeing right now. And we're going to see that even more in the future. It's going to be even more dramatic. So we've sort of pinned out 3 guiding principles to the future of communications design. And this is actually how we sort of how we promote to our customers that they should dive into this with us. First of all, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Don't do anything the way you would have done it yesterday. The future is happening right now. Whatever you think you know about what is happening in 6 or 12 months from now, you don't know at all. So it's happening right now. So don't sort of limit yourself in your thinking of what is actually possible, because chances are it's going to take you a year or at least a half a year or something even to get close to the concept that you want to work with, and already by then, the future is the past. Your concept is getting old. Move fast, move far, and change direction on the way. We've all learned to sit down and to make research and to analyze and then to start walking in the direction that our analysis has told us to go. This won't help us in the future, because reality will always outperform our wildest imagination of what is going to be possible with technology. So don't wait until you know where to go. You just find the direction, then you start running as if you had a lion behind you. And if you feel midway that there's something else is happening, you change directions. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen. The most important, real value is king. That's how it is. We don't want to look at posters anymore. We want a service. No more messages, please. Provide me with a service, and I may want to listen to what your brand has to say to me. And you've all seen all these. I mean, there's been countless of campaign apps for your mobile phone. All sorts of funny ideas of how to bring advertising to your mobile phone. It doesn't work. Nobody cares about it. But as soon as you as a brand provide a service, then we want to listen to you again. Users of the new platforms, they demand real value services. Rock and roll. That's it.
Thank you very much, David, for a really insightful presentation. I identify with a lot of the philosophies that you mentioned in your presentation. And if I may, you know, our program, our new communication design program at the Polytechnic University in Hong Kong, actually embrace some of these ideas of communication. So I identify with a lot of what you said. So, any questions for David?
My name is Mike Kao from Taipei, Taiwan. And your presentation is very, very distinguished. I have learned about it. And your running business is very successful in the global market. Would you please tell me your developing strategy in Asia? That is my first point. And the second point is I come from Invest Taiwan Service Center as well as Taiwan Design Center. Mm-hmm. If you need further assistance or any help, we can help you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Trust me, we need all the assistance we can get in the Asian market. We've been looking at the Asian market, and that's basically all the Asian countries with any production for the last many years. And we find it difficult actually to break through. We find it difficult to have this, the collaboration culture, so to speak, and the understanding of the value of what we provide is a little difficult for us to find a way through. However, we've been looking at it for many years now. We have many clients in Taiwan and in China mainly, also in Japan now, but they're all being sort of solved from either Denmark or Munich or somewhere else, Madrid. We want to move the creative processes out to those markets also. So we're looking for local partners both in China right now. We're actually discussing concrete with someone. And we're looking into Japan very concretely right now also. on opening a Designit in Tokyo. Taiwan is definitely also an option, but you know, as we won't go there before we feel completely safe on going there, because the sort of the business culture and the collaboration culture is quite different from what it is in the Western world, as I've experienced until now. So it's easier for us to do it from Denmark than it is to start. Yeah, we'll open a big office in Shenzhen. So how do we do that? Actually, we have done that. We're actually, but that's a different story. I don't know if that answers your question. We're getting there, so to speak. And I'm sure that in 5 years from now, you'll see at least 3 or 4 Designit offices, maybe embracing 200 people in Asia. That's our strategy for the field.
Hi. You've spoken about a very quick, technology change in a really rapid pace. And you also spoke a little bit about user insights. So Henry Ford once famously said, you can't, if you ask users about what they want in the future, they would say faster horses,
exactly.
Right? Not a car. So how do you actually reconcile or bridge the gap between the speed of change of technology and user behavior insights?
Yeah, it's a very famous quote, and it's very, very true, and it was never more true than this right now. Because in a world where things are changing this fast, nobody has the imagination to foresee the future and see what's it going to be like in 5 years from now. You're all wondering, so how are they going to move on with the next iPhone? I tell you, in 5 years from now, you won't even know it was an iPhone. I mean, things are changing so dramatically, and all the other technologies are changing so dramatically also, that there's no way we can foresee that. And that means, to answer your question, that means that it doesn't make any sense at all to rely on user insights in the classical sense. Because asking them, they would just say, I want a blue iPhone. That would be like the right answer, right? But that's not what we want to discuss with them. So we try to understand the patterns and try to understand like the behavioral patterns again for the users like right now, rather than going back in time and analyzing. So what did people do 2 years ago and what are they going to do in 2 years from now? We don't know. But as they're doing right now, what trends can we see in that? We won't ask them, what do you want? But we will ask them, so what is your daily whereabouts, basically? And based on that, we're sort of trying to find out what pains we can sort of cover with the technology of the future. I don't know if that answers. It's really difficult to do in a short way. But we can't ask anyone. And that's also why these guiding principles are a little rock and rollish. Because it was easier 10 years ago. We could just say, let's do some great user insight research phase, and then we can do a lot of analysis on that, and then we'll know exactly what it looks like in a year from now. We can't say that anymore. So we have to just dive in and not be afraid of making mistakes and adjusting the direction of the projects that we are working with.
All right, I think we run out of time for
yeah,
questions.
probably.
So let's give another round of applause to David.
Thank you.